Hello and welcome to our live stream and this hour. I'm Yu Yang. Currently I'm in Colombo city, Sri Lanka. As we know, the country is famous for the tea factory and the tea culture. That is why today we are here paying a visit to a tea garden and a tea factory located in Colombo city. Actually, it's the capital city of Sri Lanka. And as you know, right behind me we have some tea factory workers, and of course we have Mr. Daminda. He's actually a owner of tea plants or tea estates. So thank you so much for joining us, and he's going to share with us lots of tea culture here in this country. Mr. Daminda, thank you so much for joining our show.
Thank you, Diana. So
first, maybe you can tell me about what are they doing, the tea ladies.
Sure. Before that, just let me give you kind of introduction about the state where we are now. We are on a Vilehena tea estate and tea factory situated in Galle district, southern part of Sri Lanka. Very famous for tea cultivation, this area.
Indeed.
This area goes as low grown tea, where the cultivation is elevation below the 2,000 feet of height.
Wow, that's below the 2,000 feet of height.
Like a sea level tea cultivation.
Okay.
We have two more categories called medium grown tea and high grown tea.
Understood.
Medium grown tea is like above 2,000 to 4,000 feet of elevation.
Wow.
There we get Sabaragamu and Badulla, those area.
Understood.
And we have high grown tea that is in newer area, that side of the country, center part of the country.
Totally
you get high grown tea. So that's the main three categories of tree cultivation in Sri Lanka.
Understood.
So now we have tea ladies here. They do tea plucking. Usually every week we do we can pluck tea leaves.
Yes.
So it's like you have to pluck two leaves together with this part and you cut it.
Okay.
That's how they do the plucking.
Gotcha.
So every week they can do this tea plucking.
Wow.
And yeah.
May I have a try?
Sure, try.
So we can pick this kind of two leaves together.
That's right, two leaves
and
together.
do not pick the small one in the
No,
middle, right?
Small one we keep for the next week.
Wow, understood. Gotcha. Wow, that's the first tea leaf I pick up here at Sri Lanka. Let me smell it. It doesn't really have strong smelling.
It's teas. Yeah, it takes some time. I mean, when you pluck it and keep it for 2-3 hours, it gets the smell. You just pluck it from the tree, you don't get any smell like that.
Understood. So, well, actually, how much kilos they can pick up every day?
Usually for a day, they can pick up 25 to 30 kilos.
Well, 25 to 30 kilos per day.
Leaves, yeah.
Wow, amazing. Well, thank you so much, ladies. We'll see you later, maybe, and we keep our journey here at this tea garden. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's go, Mr. Daminda. Show me this tea garden, please.
Get him also introduced?
No, please stay here. And so currently I can see this area, and it's actually lots of tea trees. So what kind of type of species this tea is?
Yeah, this tea estate is about 35 acres of land. This tea, there are different tea clones based on the area you cultivate the. It's based on the area that you cultivate the tea, there are different clones. Now this part of the Sri Lanka, like southern part of the country, where we get kind of a dry weather most of the time during the year.
Yes.
So the famous tea clones here we call 2026. It's the name given by the Tea Research Institute.
The name is 2026?
That's right.
The name of the tea?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Name of the tea clone, 2026 and 2025.
Wow.
And there's another category starting from 40,000, 42, 49 like that. Different tea categories.
Understood.
So our Tea Research Institute, they time to time introduce new tea clones.
New tea clones.
So we can go more, we can get more crop.
Gotcha, gotcha. So currently what is he doing here? He's going to cutting out the...
pruning these flowers, like the rod, they are cleaning them up. Yeah.
Okay,
so usually maintain the tea estate, you have to prune in and clean, to do all that work while they do the other estate work.
So why this kind of grass and flowers can grow up besides the tea trees? Why this kind of flowers?
It's kind of the road to the state. So that is to beautify the state mainly. And there are, when we have a tree like this, it stops the soil corrosion. If it's a heavy rain, then soil won't corrode. I mean, it's good for the tea plantation.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, actually, we know Sri Lanka is famous for its Ceylon tea. Is that a name of all the teas in Sri Lanka, or for a special kind of tea?
Yeah, it's usually called Ceylon tea, like produced in Sri Lanka. Our history goes back to 1870s. where the British
1870s.
people, came to Sri Lanka and they started this tea cultivation. One gentleman called James Taylor is the first person started a tea estate in Sri Lanka, in Nuwara.
Wow.
That is in the 1870s.
1870. He's a local people or a British?
He's a British person.
British person.
The
Okay.
tea planter. So after that is went entire country from Nuwara, Ratnapura, Galle. It has about maybe 30-40% of Sri Lanka land. We can cultivate tea.
So currently, 35% of the lands of Sri
Yeah.
Lanka can cultivate teas.
Tea, that's right.
Wow, it's suitable for teas indeed.
Yes, of course.
And I also heard that actually you can pick up the teas well all the year without any time you can suspend
Because
it,
we are
right?
blessed with the good weather condition in Sri Lanka, so we can take the harvest throughout the year from January to December.
Wow.
But there are some months in this part of the country, April, May and August, we have kind of a dry weather.
Oh, yes.
So because of that, the tea harvest, the crop goes down. And other than those 3 months, usually every other month, every week we can take the tea harvest. We can
Wow.
pluck
So you can
tea
get
leaves.
tea harvest every week.
Every week, yes.
Wow, that's the natural lands of cultivating teas.
Exactly.
Yes, because in China, usually you know China is also a big country for teas.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, because for example, especially in the south region of China, actually I think it's usually pick up in the spring. It's going to be
Only
very
spring,
nice.
yeah,
It's only
seasonal.
spring seasonal.
Mm.
So why is it? It's also because of the climate and seasons.
Yeah, mainly because of the climate. Because it has to have good rain and also the good sunlight as well.
Good
Yeah,
sunlight.
it has to be balanced.
We
both.
can feel that
Yeah.
currently.
So it's good weather today actually, yes.
And besides that, I can see that the tea tree is planting well in different layers. For example, we have the higher one, and you
Yeah.
introduced me, it's 2026.
Yeah.
And we have the lower layer.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Why are you planting trees like that?
Basically, it's depend on the land actually. I mean, land availability for tea cultivation.
Yes.
Mainly, this kind of land we use for tea cultivation
Yes.
because it's easy for the water to flow. I mean, when the rain.
Oh, gotcha.
When there's elevation like this, the soil corrosion we can control. When it's heavy rain, even it's flowed down slowly. There's a little harm to
Understood.
the soil. So
Wow.
this kind of land is suitable for tea cultivation.
Wow, it's really small. Okay, so how about let's take a look at this tea tree. Is that the same with the previous ones?
Let me check with Hijaz. Hijaz, what
Yeah.
is this tea clone?
Yeah, he just come here.
2026. It's the
2026.
Same like this, right? It's the same tea clone like this. 2026.
2026.
Yeah.
But why it's got a number of his name? But
That's the name given by the Tea Research Institute actually. That's how you name tea clone.
given
with
by
the
tea
numbers.
institutions.
Yeah.
So you have a special institution to give
That's
the
right. We have a
tea names.
Tea Research Institute in Talawa, Calais.
Uh-huh.
They research about tea. And
Wow.
they, time to time they introduce new tea clones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how many types of teas do you have here in Sri Lanka?
There are mainly 20,000, 40,000 and there are 60,000 for those or 60,000 අනෙකුත් තියෙනවා. ඒ 20,000 ගාන 40,000 ඊට පස්සේ ආව එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ දෙක විතරනේ තියෙන්නේ. Yeah, there are only two kind of categories.
Two kinds of
20,000
category.
for 2026, 2025 like that. And
Uh-huh.
again the 4,000 categories like 40,
Wow.
40, 41, 40, 42 like that. There are two categories.
So only two categories, but you have 4,000 nearly types under these categories.
Yes, yes.
Wow. So what are these categories?
Categories are based on the area that we can grow tea. On this part of the country, mainly 22,000 clone we can cultivate. But areas like Nuwara, Badulla, they mainly they have a different clone.
They had different clones.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. So that's 2025 and that's 2026.
26, yes.
That's name given by Sri Lanka's tea institutions.
right,
That is why they named after numbers.
Numbers, yes.
But actually, you know, in China we have lots of tea names. It's very pretty.
Right.
For example, like you got some names like dragons. You got some
Oh,
names like tigers.
right.
Yes, yes, indeed. That's
Branding,
very
yeah.
interesting. That's part of Chinese tea culture.
Right.
And now let's talk about how you drink tea, Dominga, because I heard you drink tea every time, every day.
Of course, it's like a usual thing in any house in Sri Lanka. We start the day with a cup of tea, and then about 10 o'clock in the morning we have another cup of tea, and probably evening, afternoon also around 2, 3.
You got afternoon tea.
Maybe like 4 days per day, four times per day.
Wow, 4 times per day.
Usually, a lot of people prefer black tea in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Yeah, but now we have a lot of other variations, especially some companies like Dilma. They have done a lot of good things for tea industry in Sri Lanka. They're very famous around the world.
Yes.
But they have different tea branding and tea products. So there are
Wow.
different flavors now, like
I
flavored
understood.
tea.
I
Yeah.
even find the peach flavor,
That's right,
and that's
peach
very nice for
flavor,
for
apple, yeah,
for
lime.
ladies.
There are a lot of flavors now.
Amazing. So, well, you mentioned you're gonna drink 4 times tea one day.
Yeah.
Will you drink all the same type or the different type? Because I know you have some type like English breakfast, and
Yeah.
you have
Usually,
Earl Grey,
a lot
yeah.
of people prefer black tea.
Yes.
But some people now take like green tea, ginger tea, different flavors now. But usually in the morning we prefer for a black tea.
yes,
Yeah. But
understood.
even in the evening or other time, probably some other type of tea.
Gotcha. How about these tea trees? Are they the same type
I
with the
think it's
previous?
same clone, yeah. When you experience, you can look at the tree and say this is 2026, 20, like that.
Wow,
This is
amazing.
2026.
So how can you tell the differences?
Based on the leaves, actually.
Yes.
It looks the same, but this is, I think, some other clone. This tree.
Wow.
It looks different, right? The leaves. When you experience
Yeah,
it,
a
you can,
little
you
bit.
can see the difference.
Yeah, the
So the
shape.
same.
Indeed, the shape
Hmm.
and the
So I think 2024 maybe.
wow. So in the same garden, we can have different
We
kind
can
of.
have different. Yes, that's okay.
Understood. So depending on the tea leaves, you can tell the type of it,
Yeah,
and especially the shape and the size of
shape
it.
and the size of it, you can see what's the tea clone.
Understood. Thank you. Well, I got another question because I do like Ceylon tea very much, and usually I will add milk and sugar in it. It's really a British way. But I have a question. So whether all the Sri Lankan people, when you drink these, you're gonna add milk and sugar. Always depends on people's flavor.
Yeah, it depends on people's flavor.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people like just to have the tea. I mean, the black tea without without milk. But
So
we-
just the pure tea.
yeah, but we add some sugar.
Maybe
of
I need
course.
your help. Sorry for that. Thank you.
We prefer to have tea and sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
without
you.
milk most of the time.
Thank you.
Sometimes.
Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. So this is a stone mountain or a mountain made of Mars. Usually this kind of tea mountain.
So that I get you.
So it's a stone mountain or it's a mountain of Mars.
Yeah.
I mean this kind of tea mountain. Oh, it's actually some, because I saw some stones and some Mars here.
Ah, yes, yes. You have to demarcate like boundaries like this
Yes.
and different layers. For easy maintenance and the soil corrosion, you can control that.
Gotcha. But if you take a look over there, it's a really beautiful view.
Yeah.
You can see,
Nice view.
get the bird's
tea
view of the
factory
whole
there,
city.
all
Ah,
the trees.
okay. So over there is tea factory.
Tea factory, yes.
That's where we dry the teas, right?
That's right. We leave for the
Amazing.
factory and we dry them and keep for some time before the production.
Amazing. So you mentioned earlier where the Ceylon tea is actually a specific kind of tea here in Sri Lanka, which is planted in the middle area, right?
Yeah, middle of the country, especially Nuwara, Lindula, those areas, yeah.
So currently in Colombo, we are more in a lower, below the sea level, right?
Yeah, yeah, at the sea level, yes.
So that's why we need to plant different types of teas here.
That's right.
What's the
Different-
difference of flavors? Like, I mean, the higher ground tea and the lower ground tea, what's the difference of flavors?
Different flavors, yeah. I mean, in Nuwara mainly they don't pluck like this. They usually take only one leaf and this part. Right here we take.
Yeah, I remember I
yeah.
saw it in the pictures, something like that, right? So
Yeah.
we just have half of it.
That's right.
Ah,
And it
interesting.
goes for a special kind of tea production.
Understood. Is that more expensive?
More expensive.
Yeah, I think I got it because I
Yeah.
saw it on some pictures of
Great,
the
yeah.
advertisement.
Here we take two leaves and this part together. But yeah.
So after collecting, as the ladies do, so what is going on?
After collecting tea, I mean there are some people who come and collect tea leaves from the tea land and then bring to the factory. Or else the owners of the land also can they pluck tea leaves and take to the factory.
Take to the
Then
factory.
The factory collects all these tea leaves. A lot of factories they have their own state like this factory. Now they have the factory and 35 acres of tea estate owned by the factory itself. So they have some crop for the production.
Understood.
But in addition they collect from other small tea holders. So the tea leaves go to the factory and then you have to dry them for
Yes.
few days.
It will take, yeah, it will take how long time to dry those
So I
teas?
think it takes about 1 week.
1 week,
Yeah.
it's a long time. So will you just put the tea there, stay there, and naturally dry it by wind, or how will you
There's
dry the
kind
teas?
of operation there. I mean, there are some machines.
Oh,
you
yes.
need to layer the tea leaves, and it goes through some machinery process and get dry quicker,
Yes.
and then goes through the production process. So we can go to the factory and then we can see that.
I'd
part as
love
well.
to, I'd love to. So even though we use those machines, it also need to take 1 week for all the teas to get dried, even though we got the machines.
I think they keep for some time. So they don't just dry straight away. It goes by kind of steps, different. Like 1 day dry, then they keep aside, and then again dry like that. It's
Yes.
depends on the tea category of tea production. Then
Understood.
again, there's a different process there. You categorize tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So talking about the cultural connection between China and Sri Lanka, I heard a story, but I don't know whether it's accurate. It's because some of the tea seeds in Sri Lanka is actually from China's Fujian province.
Yeah, there
Is
are
it?
some historical bond between China and Sri Lanka, the tea
Wow.
industry as well. I think it also goes back centuries, Sri Lanka-China relationship.
Yes.
So in the tea industry also there are some tea clone we have received from China.
Yes.
Still we have, I think in this factory also we have one part grown of
Wow.
what we call China tea.
Amazing.
So we can go there and, see
Wow,
how
please show me there.
Yeah,
We
sure.
can see some Chinese teas here. We're far away from China. It's amazing, and it actually gets me nostalgia a little bit. So, well, actually the temperature and climate here in Sri Lanka is totally different from China.
Oh.
But so how do you plant Chinese teas here in your country?
I think it has again come through our tea research institute. They have done some development to
Gotcha.
ensure that we can properly cultivate that special tea clone from China in Sri Lanka. So they have done some kind of little changes to suit our soil.
Wow.
But still it looks different, so it looks at Chinese tea.
Wow, show me it later. So, well, for Sri Lankan people, and what kind of Chinese tea do they like?
Chinese tea is not, I mean,
A majority, right?
I think we do for mainly export. We don't.
Oh, you
do Sri
export
Lanka
Chinese
market.
tea?
Yeah, Chinese tea is mainly
Wow.
do for export purpose because it's very expensive actually. For local people, I
Gotcha.
mean, just can't afford.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can find them in maybe good restaurants and hotels, but
Yes.
normally Sri Lanka it's not the market. I mean, we do
Understood.
for export.
So, what other countries you are going to export Chinese teas?
Mainly to China.
Mhm.
In addition,
Even China?
Yeah, even China is in.
Amazing.
And the Middle East, Russia, Ukraine,
Yes.
Europe, especially
Yes.
Britain. So those
Yes.
are the main countries we export China tea and the other type of teas as well.
Amazing.
We're like the third largest tea producer in the world.
Yes, I knew that. So, Sri Lanka is really a large tea exporter in the world. So,
the best tea also, the Ceylon tea.
well,
They're famous
so,
for that Ceylon tea brand.
indeed, that's your national treasure.
Exactly.
And so, actually, how much tea will you export over the world every year?
I'm not too sure about the numbers, but there's some million of metric tons of tea production every year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some years it goes down because of the weather conditions, and sometimes it affects the global, global issues.
Yes,
like
understood.
situation and things
Gotcha.
like that
So it's
affects
also
our
going
tea
to impact the
production.
tea markets.
Exactly. Tea price mainly depend on those global factors. When the
Understood.
war is there in some part of the world, our demand goes down. I mean, export
Yes.
is less, then our price goes down.
Gotcha, gotcha, understood. So are we quite near the Chinese tea garden? I remember maybe.
It's somewhere here, right? China tea.
Where is it?
This part of the
Here is already the Chinese tea garden, right?
Yeah.
Come here. Come to see some Chinese tea planting in Sri Lanka's land. It's amazing.
It's a special cone called China.
Follow us.
You can see the difference, right?
Yeah, of course, that's the tea tree I'm quite
Oh,
familiar
like,
with.
yeah,
But
very-
is that black tea or green tea?
It's called China tea here.
It's just called China tea.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at my China tea tree. Well, quite now we are quite far away from our family and we can find a Chinese tea tree here. That's amazing. But actually none of us know the type of it because
Yeah.
it's just called China tea here in Sri
It
Lanka.
look the same or it's different?
It's totally, you mean in China?
China, yeah.
Well, I believe I have saw some tea tree like this,
Right.
especially with such a color.
Yeah, it's color difference. You can clearly see it,
Yes,
like more
it's,
greener, this
yeah,
like more
it's
kind of
totally
red.
different from the Sri Lankan ones. It's amazing. But indeed,
හදනවද China tea? Factory එකේ? අරන් වල යවනද කොහේද?
yes?
They pluck only this part, it seems.
Oh,
And it's
understood.
expensive, yeah.
Expensive. How much is this per kilo or per gram? I mean.
Grams here. 100 grams about 10,000 rupees. It's quite expensive.
10,000 ruby
Yes.
per gram.
100 gram.
100 gram.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
So
indeed
1 kilo is about
expensive.
120,000. Yeah, it's quite expensive.
Wow. So compare with Sri Lankan tea, for example, those kind of Sri Lankan tea caps to how much?
This is about 1 kilo 200 rupees. I mean.
Oh my God, that's huge difference.
Yes.
Oh my God, but why do you choose to plant this kind of Chinese tea here since it's such expensive?
අයි ගොඩක්ම වගක නැති මිනිහ කියන්නේ වගක අමාරුයි. They don't get much more crop here because of the weather conditions not that good for this tea clone. China tea,
Gotcha. Well,
so they get less crop. I mean, the harvest is more less than our tea. leaves.
indeed,
So it's
indeed.
not, they can't get more profit from it. So
Understood, understood. Well, amazing that
Really
I'm
good,
so happy to
yeah.
see a Chinese tea tree here. Oh, great, great. So, as I told you earlier, well, for Chinese tea tree, it cannot produce teas in the whole year usually.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
not-
only
not
a
like
seasonal,
the-
right?
Yeah,
so
it's a
that is-
seasonal one. But I don't know whether in China's Fujian province, this kind of really good black tea, which is called, and it's actually Wu Yi Yan Cha. I don't know whether it can be collected all the year, I'm not sure. But for the green tea called Longjing, it's probably, most of them produced in the spring.
Oh, okay, right.
So now we're heading to the tea factory.
Yes, we're in the tea factory. yes.
Well, come along with us and we're going to the tea factory to see the later process of making the tea.
Yeah.
Amazing. So usually for tea garden, you will have both the tea planting here and also you have the tea factory.
Usually in the tea factory they have a tea estate as well because they have to ensure they get enough tea leaves for the production. So they both goes together, tea factory and the tea estate. In addition, they collect tea leaves from other suppliers to ensure
Yes.
that they have enough tea leaves for the production. Otherwise, they can run the machines and run the factory.
Ah, understood. That's a good process because you can control both the planting area and the drying process,
Yeah.
and then you can sell some of them, right?
Of course, yeah. So they can run the factory smoothly without financial issues.
Understood. Interesting.
I think China is, tea started from China, right? That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's usually according to some common
yeah,
knowledge, it
common
should be
knowledge
starting
from
from China, indeed.
It's called in China, how do you call tea?
cha.
Chai.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cha.
cha.
Yeah, cha. Yeah, indeed. And we got people who's also quite famous, just like your British one, who is the first one to plant tea here in Sri Lanka, and his name is Lu Yu.
Lute. Oh.
Yes, and usually we call him the Lord of Tea or the
Right.
God of Tea, and he's famous for writing a book and narrating all the tea types currently they found in China.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's living in Tang Dynasty, which
Right.
about thousands of years ago.
Great.
Hello. So they are packaging the
They're
tea.
packaging the tea, yes.
Great.
Then the production.
Wow. Well, I can smell the strong tea fragrance
Yeah,
here.
I can smell the
Yeah, that's much stronger than in the tea garden.
Yeah, yeah.
Indeed.
Factory.
That's very interesting because when we're in the tea garden, we cannot feel very strong tea fragrance. But when we arrive here, this is actually a tea factory where they got dry the teas, and that is why we can smell such a strong fragrance of the tea. Can we enter? We'll go that way. Okay. So we go this way to enter the factory, and you can see the tea ladies. They are packaging the teas. Such a huge package.
Yeah. Production of tea pack එක කොච්චර බරද හිතා? අර tea bag තමයි කිලෝ 50 වගේ තියෙනවා.
කියලා ගන්න තියෙන්නේ.
ඒක ගන්න. They have 20, 30, 50 kg of packs based on their order.
Wow. Indeed, a strong fragrance of tea.
Yeah.
But it's a bit different from Ceylon, like what I smelled before.
It's more stronger, right?
Oh yes, yes.
You know, the factory without they do any other processing, you know, after the factory production, before they go to the market, they add some flavors and then, you know, some changes. Then
Yes.
the smell goes a little bit milder.
Yes.
That strong smell.
Oh, understood. So earlier you told me about the different flavors of ground tea and the lower ground tea.
Yeah.
So usually the higher ground tea is stronger then, right?
Yeah, quite of stronger than the lower grown tea, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So now we are entering a tea factory right here in this tea estate. And they're doing the both process of collecting, planting, and even drying here. Wow, that's the first time for me to entering a tea factory. We're going to climb those stairs. So what is this machine for?
You can see from there actually, moving the tea leaves.
Wow.
We'll go through the process and we start from
So we are going to climb the stairs. We're going to climb the stairs. Come along with us. Oh, so we can see the tea leaves above. Amazing. Wow. That's actually the first time for me to entering a tea factory.
we tell him to explain the process.
So tell me about this machine and the process.
Just for that.
Hello, nice to meet us.
I think I've known him. I can't remember.
කොහෙද?
ඔයා මේ සිකටල් දන්නවනේ හේ. රෝහණ.
මම පුතානේ.
ඒක තමයි මට මතක් කරේ ආපනේ හේ. He's one of my friends. I mean, I know him.
Ah, it's amazing to meet your old friends here. We're going to pay a visit to your tea factory, and the main is helping you to understand what we have here.
අපේ අයියා අක්කගේ මල්ලි.
tea process එක බලන්න ඕන කියලා කියන්නේ, so can explain නේ.
කොහොමද කරන්නේ? අපි දැන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ අවස් දැන් 40 එකෙන් දළු වෙන්නේ. අවස් දෙකෙන් පස්සේ තමයි වගේ ගොඩක් දළු වෙන්නේ.
They get the tea leaves after 2 p.m. during the
Okay.
day.
Ah.
ටප් එකකට වැටෙන සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 1300ක් 1400ක් වගේ අපි දානවා දළු කිලෝ.
Then they put tea leaves to this what do you call it? මොකද කියන්නේ මොකද?
ට්‍රප්
Trap.
ඔව්.
They
Trough.
put,
So you put fresh
1,000
tea
kilos
leaves.
of tea leaves here, yeah.
Oh,
සාමාන්‍යයෙන් එක වර්ග අඩියට කිලෝ 2.5 3ක් වගේ වැටෙනවා.
For a square feet, it takes about 2 to 3 kilos.
wow. So usually you put fresh tea leaves in this kind of trucks and after 2 p.m.
After 2 p.m. Yeah.
So in the afternoon.
So we don't see right.
So currently we can't see the fresh tea leaves. No worries, but I can smell strong fragrance of teas.
මේකට මේ අර heat එකයි cool එකයි දෙකම use කරලා තමයි අපි මේක අර
වෙලා.
පැය 8ක් 10ක් වගේ යනවා ඒ ක්‍රියාවලිය සිදු කරන සාමාන්‍ය පැය 10ට තමයි පටන් ගන්න.
එකටම කොළ මෙතන තියෙනවා.
ඔව් දළු අපි හවස 2 පස්සේ තමයි දළු වෙන්නේ. ඒ දාලා මේක full වුණාට පස්සේ තමයි ෆෑන් දාලා house වල ෆෑන් දාලා ඊට පස්සේ පැය 10ට තමයි පටන් ගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ ක්‍රියාවලිය සිදු කරන්නේ.
They keep tea leaves until 10 p.m. in the night.
Okay.
Just here.
Okay.
After they start the process.
Okay,
the
okay.
machinery process.
Wow, so they put the fresh tea leaves here after 2 p.m. and later they're going to put it until the 10 p.m. in the evening
night, yeah.
and the process starts.
Yes.
So-
Factory operates like 24 hours.
Understood. Okay, okay. So what are the after process?
ඊට පස්සේ මොකද වෙන්නේ මෙතන මේ ප්‍රොසෙස්?
So that is why currently we can't see any tea leaves here because it's already entering next stage.
Yeah, it started after.
Uh-huh.
දල්ලේ දින මේ වතුර කියන 100ක් අපි පිටින් අයින් කරන්නේ.
Oh, sorry.
එතන තමයි කරන්නේ.
You can try time passed.
ඔය 10න් පස්සේ අපි මේක house වල දාලා ඊට පස්සේ මේක ටර්න් කර පෙල්ලනවා. රස්නේ දීලා පෙල්ලනවා. ඊට කියන්නේ
ඒක රස්නේ පල්ලෙන් එළඹ හරි එකක් තියනවද කියන්නේ?
dry එක දින
Dry. හරි. There's a dryer, so tea leaves get dried
Yes, yes.
from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. time.
Uh-huh.
And after they to shuffle
Like
the tea
8
leaves,
hours later.
8 hours they just keep
Okay.
here, yes.
So, well, actually, after 8 hours, how the tea, well, to what extent the tea is going to be dried? To what extent?
So අපි 10න් පස්සේ මොකද වෙන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ 10න් පස්සේ අපි පීටිය දාලා ඊට පස්සේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 11ට 12ට එකට වගේ මේක දැන් අපි දැන් දාපු දළු දින මේක යට සයිඩ් එක දැන් මැල වෙනවනේ ඊට පස්සේ උඩ සයිඩ් එක දැන් අමු වෙන්න තියෙනනේ ඒක අනිත් පැත්ත පෙල්ල ගන්නවා
10 12 එකට.
啊
12ට
It's about midnight. They have to again turn the tea leaves other side to ensure that all the tea leaves at the same.
That's totally dry, like
Yeah,
the
properly
every part
dry.
of it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But it will take you how long time to, well, to change the direction and well, to redo the tea drying process? It will take him how long time?
Yeah.
Because we have such huge passage here. Oh, watch out. Whoa, I can feel the heat here. That's the machine used to dry the tea leaves and you can feel a strong heat here. Wow. And loud sound. So after this, what are next process?
After that, the tea leaves goes down. So let's go there and see
Let's go downstairs, okay?
the
Wow.
brewing section.
Okay, okay.
It's like a dry keep for tea. Dry.
I think that's similar with Chinese traditional ways,
Okay.
right?
Kind of with the same process. I think.
Indeed. Oh, here's still a part, small part of this.
So,
Why are they still here?
they have got some tea leaves in the morning, so they will keep on collecting and putting like this.
Oh, understood.
After
So
2
you
p.m. only they get more.
understood. So you put first
Probably
part
from the
here,
factory taste change.
and now it's a little bit fragrance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see the fragrance.
Yeah.
Soon after you pluck from the tea plant, you don't feel it. But
Yes,
after
yes.
some time you have that.
Wow. It smells good. Yeah. So is this a traditional way that, well, people date back to hundreds of years ago, they're starting to use like this, or it's a new way?
It's kind of a traditional actually. It has been there for many centuries now.
Yes,
There's
yes.
some kind of improvement in the machinery, but the process is still the same.
Gotcha. Understood. So let's go downstairs. We're going to go next stage,
Yeah,
right?
next stage.
Thank you.
From there, the helios comes here to this machine, about 250 kilos at one time. So this
Okay.
cooling machine.
Okay. Wow, so it's going to screwing it
Yeah.
into small pieces.
Small pieces.
But actually in China we keep the full leaf of it. Sometimes we don't screw. So
Based on
usually
the type of production, but
Yeah.
here mainly we brew everything and make the tea small portions like that.
So let's keep on going.
Yeah.
මේක සැද ඒ දෙක විනාඩි 20ක් අපි අඹරනවා ගැලුවොත්.
Commission එක.
මේක ඉස්සයි මේක ඉස්සයි.
They brew the tea for 20 minutes from each machine, from this one and this one.
What's the differences between these two?
There are two processes.
Two process.
Yeah.
So we keep on. So when it will become the products which can be sold to customers.
These are waste taken
Ah,
out
yes.
after this process.
Wow, come here. So, so after drying, it's going to go down to those machines and it's going to become this kind of leaves. Let me smell it. Ah, it has such strong fragrance. Try it. But it smells like grass a little bit. But this is still not dry enough, right?
No, this is, we are separating this part from the production.
Okay. Oh, it's already become productions.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Using
you.
some different purposes.
Understood.
මේකද ගන්න අපි අර පොලින් අඹරනවා විනාඩි 10ක්
So after that machine, the tea comes here.
Uh-huh.
It's like kind of come to this.
It's a shaking process. So it's for it to go drier or for it to separate it from each other? Separate from each other. Ah, thank you, sir. So that's the difference.
Kind of a quality part of the TV. They keep separately. They dry them and then pack it separately.
Totally understood. So this is a part of tea leaves.
Yeah.
And during this process, they're going to separate it from each other
Yeah.
and then going
Quite
to dry it and it's going to the market. Very nice. Thank you, sir. That's enough. Wow.
Cheers. We have the packing section.
Okay, let's go to the packing section. So that's the last part, right? Wow. So actually those are the packages we can see from. So those are actually the tea packages, right?
Yes, these are the package for export.
Oh, amazing. For export to other countries.
BP කියලා කියන්නේ මේක ඒක BP කියලා.
The category is BP, they call it.
Uh-huh.
How many kilos? 35 kilos this package.
Oh, the grade is 13p. Is that a good production or a medium?
දැන් බෑග් 10නේ අපි ගහන්නේ බෑග් 10න් 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 බෑග් 10 ලා
Quality
ඉන්නේ.
එකක්ද මේක කියන්නේ? හොඳේ.
ඔව් මේක අර සෙකන්ඩ් කියන්නේ.
Kind of medium quality.
Medium quality. Okay.
There's the coding they use for export.
Okay. Well, great. So after that, the tea is going to export to sell everywhere around the world. And actually today we're paying visit to a tea garden here in Sri Lanka's Colombo city. And you can see we're visiting the tea gardens where they're planting the teas, and of course the tea factory. They're making the teas into products. It's a really amazing process. And I'd really like to thank my friend Mr. Daminda. He helped us a lot to learn about the culture of Sri Lanka tea here. And I'd like to say that between China and Sri Lanka, there's a strong bond between the two countries, especially in tea culture, dating back to hundreds of years ago. That is why today we are here to exploring Sri Lanka's tea culture, and we can compare the differences between China and Sri Lanka. Really nice for you to introduce this to us, and thank you so much, Mr. Mingda. And hope to see you next time. And come to China to taste some Chinese tea.
Of course, I love it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So that's all for today, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.